A lot of people have been asking me is where's Harvey, and it's I know it's been a long time since I last made a video, much too long in fact. The truth of the matter is I've been profiting from the rather amazing markets what we've been having over the last few months. I mentioned before how the so-called recession has been making fabulous market conditions for trading. Really has to be said. Um, Ups and downs and all over the place. As long as it don't go sideways, then there's money to be made. And we haven't had much sideways recently. We've been all over the place, and that's given some great opportunity to make some money. And believe it or not, probably you won't believe it, but these videos do take a little bit of time to make. They might not be particularly polished or professionally finished, but there's a little bit of planning that goes into each one. Um, so I just really haven't had time to plan out some of these videos and get them made. So hopefully that will change now. I've put some time aside to make some more, and so let's get on with it. One of the things what happened to me since the last video I made is did have some computer problems. Um, and in fact I had a hard drive in one of my computers, the one that I use to make videos actually, crashed and lost everything on that drive. Fortunately it wasn't my main trading computer, that one has been rock solid, but it made me just want to talk about that very briefly, and about how safe is your data. I employ a guy who looks after all my technical side of things. I'm what you might call technologically challenged. It's not really my strong point, computers and stuff. So he looks after all of that, looks after the website and all that kind of thing, and keeps all my computers in tip-top condition. And he always tells me, Harvey, if you ain't got your data in three separate places, then it's not safe. And one of those places should be completely physically separate as well. So this is how he set me up to keep my data safe. I've got everything gets copied onto an external hard drive, and that's something that's copied every hour or every 2 hours or something like that. All happens in the background automatically, ain't got to do nothing. So there's always copies on that. But of course that saves me, and indeed that's what saved me with my hard disk failure when that went recently. But what happens if the unthinkable happens? If your house burns down, or even if someone breaks in and all your stuff gets nicked? If your hard drive is like mine, sat next to your computer, then that ain't going to be much use to you. So you need to have data in other places, all sorts of different ways. We used to have some kind of tape drive, and my guy took the tapes off site, but don't do that anymore. Now we use got this system where everything gets copied up to a backup system on the internet, and that's just brilliant. That's really good. It happens again. Happens all in the background. I ain't got to worry about it. I ain't got to think about it. I ain't got to do anything. Anytime you create a new file or whatever, gets uploaded in the background somewhere on the internet. It's all secured, encrypted, so no one else can read it, and there we go. So even if you lose all your machine and your external hard drive and all your backups, it's up there somewhere on the internet. And another great advantage of this system, something what I've used a few times actually when travelling, because I do a lot of travelling, is everything depends on the system you're using. But everything what's copied up to the internet you can access from anywhere on the internet, on any computer, and that's saved me bacon a few times when I've got a small little laptop what I take when I'm travelling, and it hasn't got a copy of everything on it, so sometimes it's very handy when you're away to be able to go and just grab stuff off the internet what you've got on your main computer at home. So anyway, that's how I'm set up, and this trading is my business. Obviously, it's my living, and it needs to be treated as such. And the data has to be treated with the respect that it deserves. It's very valuable. So just something to think about. If you haven't got some kind of backup plan in place, then do do so. Get one. I'll stick some links up on the old blog to some of these backup services. But thinking of trading as a business and treating your data as business data got me thinking about other things that relate to trading as a business. And if trading is your business, are you treating it like one? It's very easy when you work at home, in your shorts or whatever. to not get bogged down with the business side of things. But if it's your living, you've got to treat it like you're living, and make sure that if anything goes wrong, you're equipped to take care with it. So things like, is your computer up to specification? Is it the best computer for the job? I've talked about tools of the trade before. There's no point in skimping on having cheap rubbish hardware. You've got to have something what's up to the job if this is what you're making your living out of. Same thing goes with your internet connection. If you're trading online, then obviously you've got to have the best, fastest connection, what you can afford. There's no point in trying to make false economies. And have you got a spare computer? So I say my computer died, and it wasn't my trading computer, but had it been my trading computer, wouldn't have been a problem because I've got a backup computer as well. The same thing with your internet connection. If that goes down, have you got a separate internet connection, maybe a dial-up connection, or even a second DSL line into your house, or a satellite feed or whatever? What about your broker? If there's a problem with your internet connection, can you at least phone your broker and close any trades that you've got open? What happens if your phone line goes down? Have you got a cell phone what you can use to phone your broker? Does it work? Is it charged? Do you know where it is? And what happens if the electricity goes off? If you have a power cut, we get quite a few of those with the old storms. Power goes off. One of the advantages of trading off a laptop, of course, is it's got a battery in, so if the power goes off, it don't affect the laptop. But what about your DSL modem, that kind of thing? Are they plugged into the mains? Usually they've got a power adapter, something like that. I've got one of these power supply things, what my guys installed for me. Power goes off, then everything keeps going for about an hour or so, which is plenty of time. I mean, you need enough time that you can close any trades what you've got open. So, thing is, if trading is your business, if it's your living, you've got to treat it that way. You've got to plan for the worst and hope for the best, and think about how much could you lose if it did all go wrong, if it all went pear-shaped, power went off, computer broke or whatever, and you're in the middle of a trade. If that trade turns against you, you could potentially be losing thousands of dollars. So you need to think about how much you could lose, and then think about how much is it going to cost to insure against that kind of loss. And I mean, this kind of stuff doesn't cost much anymore. Internet connections don't cost much. Laptops are pretty cheap. Everyone's got a cell phone. It's a case of common sense in a lot of cases, making sure you know that where your phone is, that it's charged, that you've got your broker's phone number on there, and just basically planning for if anything goes wrong, and making sure that you can get out of it and not lose money. So that's that aspect of trading as a business. And having thought about all of that then led me on to thinking of another aspect of trading as a business, or trading as a profession. And this links in with the big question, the question what everyone seems to ask me, and that is, Harvey, how long does it take to become profitable as a trader? And I can understand the question, it's a fair question, but there's a bit of a hidden message behind that question a lot of the time. And the thing is this, a lot of people seem to think that if they want to become a day trader, they can just go and read a book and then start trading, and that they'll start making money. And of course, it doesn't work like that. Learning to trade is like learning anything else. It takes time to get there. I mean, for example, how long would it take you to become a chess master? Now, I can teach you all the basic moves on a chessboard, what each piece does, how it moves, in half an hour. But is that going to make you a chess master? Of course it isn't. You've got to learn the subtleties of the game. I could teach you various different opening moves, or how to counteract different opening moves of your opponent. But the same thing applies. It's not going to make you a chess master. Same thing goes with being a musician. If you want to become proficient as a musician, you could find a music teacher. They could teach you some notes, maybe a few scales or whatever. But are you going to be up there on stage, playing along with the Who or whoever? Of course not. It takes a lot of time and practice to get to that level. Same if you want to be a professional golfer or any sport really. Same again if you want to learn another language, you can pick up a few words, basic sentence structure, grammar, that kind of thing. It doesn't take a long time to learn those things, but it does take a long time to become proficient